Say hello.
Hi guys, this is Kaycee with Homeschool, and I'm here with my husband Rick.
Hello.
And today we're talking about why we homeschool. So we have 7 children that we have adopted through foster care and through private adoption. And we have chosen to homeschool them all. What's wrong? Yeah, that has nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
Wrong notes.
Okay.
So I personally was homeschooled from 8th grade on, and so whenever we had kids, I really wanted to homeschool our kids. So we have homeschooled all of our kids from the very beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've had some foster kids that were in public school,
Yes.
which was an eye-opener.
Yes.
And it made us even want to, it reinforced why we homeschool in the first place.
Yes.
So.
We had it was just interesting. But so I think the number one reason that I wanted to homeschool was I have probably 2 that I tie for first place. And one was just my relationship with my children. And that's probably tied with the time. So you only get so much time with your kids. And so much time.
You only get so much time.
It can go either way. It really can.
Yeah.
But and sometimes that time with them every day, I would gladly ship them off. But so I wanted to be able to have a good relationship with my kids and be able to have time to do that. And our oldest is 16, and the time has just flown by. And
Yep.
so now that he's going to be a junior here coming up, and so now that we're nearing the last 2 years, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad how fast it's gone.
Really?
And for me it is. So being able to have the time with him and be able to cultivate his worldview through a relationship with God I think that's probably the number one reason I homeschool, is because I am able to incorporate the reason why we do what we do into their school studies. And so that's really, really important for me. And then a close second is just the time with them. So when we did foster, we shipped them off. They were gone from very early in the morning till mid-afternoon.
Oh, the foster kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I didn't really get time with them. I mean, we got
then
but
they came home and had
an hour to an hour and a half of homework that I would have to teach again. So I by the time we got wrapped up, it was time for dinner and then it's time for bed. And so I just didn't really get the chance to spend time with them as much as I would have wanted to.
outside schoolwork.
Outside schoolwork.
And the nice thing about homeschool, you're able to, she plans the activity, what she's going to teach around vacations.
Yes.
So, she taught about Benjamin Franklin. So last year we went, was it last year?
No, it's been almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago, we went to Philadelphia and went and seen some of the things, his museum, Ben Franklin Museum and things like that. And
That was fun.
their history. We went to D.C. the year before that, Washington,
Yes.
D.C. Some of the fun ones were the same trip with Ben Franklin. She talked about Hershey, Pennsylvania, the chocolate.
We learned about Milton Hershey on that one. That was
so
super
the
fun.
kids got to make chocolate, eat chocolate.
Make caramel. He made
They
caramel.
were just happy about
Yeah.
all that. So we try to plan our vacations.
For the ultimate field trips.
Yeah.
Ultimate field trips probably is a reason that we homeschool.
Yeah.
And we can go
Because
anytime.
and they're still learning.
Yeah.
We don't have to figure out when school break is. We could do whatever we want.
Yeah, so we
Like
actually...
Yellowstone was good last year.
Yeah.
The kids really enjoyed that. I didn't think they would, but boy, they enjoyed that.
Oh, that
a
was
lot.
so much. It was so much fun. And we had learned a lot about volcanoes and glaciers and...
Geysers.
Geysers and just the different animals that we've seen. And then they got to go and experience it. So definitely ultimate field trips. It's just part of why we do. And it gives them a chance to to have history come alive, and so then you can make memories, and which is pretty much what I say homeschooling is all about, making memories.
And it's still school, but they don't see it as school. They
No.
see it as fun.
And we just had this argument with our 16-year-old just the other day.
I guess I missed that one.
Well, you were with me. Remember how he was arguing that vacations are not school time? Yeah. We had to.
He listens to me as well as I listen to him.
Apparently. This is quite revealing.
Yep.
So, yes. Another reason that I love to homeschool, which is probably something that if you had told me this when I started with Sammy, I probably would have been scared. But that is, we do have a decent amount of special needs. We knew that going into adoption that we would. And we get to tackle those special needs directly, head on. And most of the time, so far, we've been able to do it early. So, and that's been really helpful. But being able to select a math curriculum that is going to speak to a certain child because of their challenges, I just feel like that's a perk. So, or if I know that a child is struggling with a certain thing, I can actually work into the lesson plan to be able to review that with them as a family. And so they're not so singled out with their special need.
But they also help each other too.
Yes.
So
And that's
a
the
bonus.
beauty. We have so many, that really helps out too. So a lot of we have some similar special needs, but a lot of them just kind of shore each other up, and I think that helps out. So,
And also with homeschooling, she gets to do what she calls unit studies, which she can teach all the kids, different age levels, at the same time, the same subject, but each level has their own writing assignment or math assignment or science experiment. But most of the time, the oldest Sam he'll do the science experiments for the kids and show them.
mm-hmm. And that's a good thing too, because, and it goes back to the buddy system a little bit, but it's one thing to learn it, it's another thing to teach it.
Yeah.
So they
And
get the opportunity to teach it.
Yeah, each kid is taught something.
Yes.
Except for the littlest.
And it won't be long, because she's 3-year-old that
She tells you while it is.
she's probably teaching within a year.
And another thing about the homeschooling is everything you can implement into anything, like cooking. Teaching our 10-year-old, she loves to bake. Well, she's learning how to do measurements and how to figure that out.
And fractions will come so much easier for her. The best way to teach fractions is by baking cookies, because that is they get to experience their measuring. And trust me, we have had some mistakes in the measuring.
Yeah.
And the cookies did not turn out. Bella, how much salt did you put in that?
What was that?
So now we have to test the cookie dough ahead of time to make sure. So yeah, there's lots of learning, and I think that's one of the things that when you're homeschooling, like, you teach the math, and so they've been converting things like crazy lately. And that's one thing I've noticed about you. You've been like, okay, so how many pints is that? Or how many cups is that?
Well, that's their math problem.
But I've heard you doing it in their everyday life. So whenever you have the opportunity to do that, you turn it into a lifestyle learning. So they are learning every single minute.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. So if
If they catch it, that's a different story. But
if they have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity to, if you see a learning moment come up, like, you stop and you take advantage of it and be like, yeah. And so I have a good idea of what everybody's learning. So if we see something, then we all go, oh yeah, we learned that with Ben Franklin, or we talked about her with so-and-so, remember we seen them at whatever. And so it's kind of cool how you can, you have those memories with your kids, and so you're able to draw back on them. It's kind of a bonding thing, really. So
nowadays, a lot of people are looking to homeschool because of the coronavirus going on right now. That this kind of dates when this is happening, but we're used to it. The only thing we're not used to is the fact that they, with her homeschooling, yeah, they're here all the time, but they do a BSF class,
Yeah, we do a
which is
Bible
a
study
Bible
once a
study
week.
class that her and the little kids and the kids go to, and I keep the youngest home with me because there's an age restriction there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on one night. Then on Fridays they have a co-op, a homeschool co-op, which is in a town about an hour away from us. That it's a bunch of homeschool families get together and have like their own little classes and things like that. That gets them the time to socialize. Plus, our kids socialize at the BSF, that church. Plus, they get to go to the library every other week. So,
plus, then we try to do
a field trip
trips
every once
too
in a while.
as well.
But right now, it's a little different because they don't get out of the house at all, except for outside. We live out in the country, so they go outside and play. It's not a biggie. But just like everybody else, you can't go see
social distancing for us is we are feeling the pain too, even though maybe we're not feeling it as much as because we don't go somewhere every single day. That we combine things so we don't have to, but we go out 4 days a week, and those 4 days a week are gone.
Yep.
So that is something that, because while I am homeschooling and I want my children to have to know what I believe and to get their learning from me, I don't want it to be only from me. So I want other people to influence them as well. So these other opportunities that we have, our church, our Bible study, those are the outlets, our co-op, those are the outlets that we've chosen to be able for them to learn from.
So homeschooling is not specifically you have to be taught in your home. With us, like we do it, the vacations we have are based around their education. So even though we're out, they're still learning.
And we do a good mix of fun on that because it isn't all about learning, although our kids love to go to a museum. I don't know how much longer that'll last, but right now they do. But we also find fun things too for them, like Hershey, Pennsylvania. I mean, the thing is even if you're going to an amusement park, then study roller coasters. There's a great science lesson in roller coasters.
Yep.
And then go ride them. So I think honestly, we started that. One of my first unit studies I did early on was roller coasters, and Andy was maybe 4, and so he drew his roller coaster here. Then we took him to Silver Dollar City. He rode it at this little roller coaster, and this kid still to this day loves roller coasters. And I can almost guarantee this kid will be an engineer someday.
There's some that he doesn't like just because of...
He doesn't like to ride them, but he loves to watch them.
Yeah.
And know how they work and all that.
But like powder keg, it's because the way it takes off, they talk about it exploding.
Yeah.
The building exploding. So he thinks it's going to explode, even though that's not it. But he rode it and he liked the ride, but it's just something that he doesn't want to do, but he likes riding roller coasters.
But the thing is the whole thing is he's just simply fascinated by the whole concept. And that came from a unit study that I did because we were going on vacation to Silver Dollar City, and I thought, how can I turn this into a learning experience? And so that's what I did.
Yeah. So every time we go to amusement park, we season passes at Silver Dollar City, so they go there quite often.
But even when we went to Hershey and
Holiday World, Indiana. That was whenever we went to the Creation and Ark. Yeah. And then we came back through and went to Santa Claus.
So I mean, it was interesting. It's just been interesting to see. I mean, he loves to see how the roller coasters work. So they still
all the rides.
Any
ride he's on, he's more
centrifugal
interested.
Force, the whole 9 yards.
He's looking at how it works more than looking around.
Yeah, that's what he likes to do, and all of them like to do that. But it's just a point that you can turn anything into a lesson. It can be. I mean, when I was teaching them gravity, like what gravity was, we went to a park and we would slide down the slide and yell gravity because that's what gravity does. So, I mean, there's just so many things that you can do and make memories with them.
And then there's also stuff around that you can go to. Like there was Boone, what was that Boone Day thing that we went to?
Daniel Boone.
Mm-hmm. Has a place local, and they had a big activities going on for people.
Or the time that we studied Egypt and then went to the Science Center with the Egypt exhibit. So, I mean, there's like so many things that you can go and take advantage of if you're aware of it. So basically what I do is wherever we're going for the vacations for the year, we learn about that particular subject and then we go from there. So like,
the hard part, whenever you want to teach them about foreign countries, though, they want to go, and that don't work.
When I taught them about Italy and Germany, they want to go there.
Yeah.
That's the part but there's a lot of local things that you can find. So with Germany, we took them for gelato. No, that was Italy. We took them for gelato. Thanks, Sam's in there. Yeah. And then Germany, we, because of the coronavirus, haven't got there, but we have a local Holocaust museum that I want to take some of the older ones too. That's probably not going to be appropriate for some of our younger ones, but.
And there's some German restaurants around.
Yeah, or if you didn't even want to leave your house and you want to make memories, you make a meal, and then watch a movie. We watched Sound of Music and attempted to make
schnitzel.
And potato.
Attempted.
Yeah,
potato
it didn't
pancakes.
turn out like it's supposed to.
Potato pancakes, that's what you made.
Okay, yeah.
Potato pancakes with applesauce. It didn't remind me of the memory from me when I was a kid, though.
See, sorry about that.
We made that in home ec.
Oh.
That's how far back school. They don't teach home ec at school anymore, or shop.
Yeah, you're dating yourself.
Yep.
So,
but the kids need to learn that. And again, homeschool, you get to teach them that most. Cooking around the house. The kids cook meals. They get to pick what they want to make. Excuse me. They pick the meal that they want to make, and then they make it. Again, that is working on their budget because mom gives them, okay, you have this much money to spend. You have to figure out what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Then they have to cook it. So that goes
some
into...
Some of it's even researching what they want to make and making sure it's healthy, too. That's another thing.
So then they have to read. Every time they go to the library, there's certain books they have to get. One of them is a cookbook or a project book. So most of the time it's cookbooks, and then they look through the cookbook and decide, hey, I want to try this. They talk to mom. If it's in the budget, they do it.
Right. And that's like planning. This is stuff that whenever the goal is for them to be independent adults. And this is something that they need to learn. And not only that, I guess if the core subjects that you're wanting to make sure that they get into, they're being able to implement like math, learning to cut things in quarters, learning to measure out different things, conversions. And then just even, if you're having a hesitant reader, like having them cook something and having them read the recipe. So sometimes when they know that there's going to be some sort of food to enjoy, there's more of an incentive for them to get engaged in it.
And that's another way to get kids. I know we might get off track here, but with this homeschooling stuff like that, kids, you have picky eaters. They don't want to try something. But if they make it, they're more apt to try it.
So when I have picky eaters, I always get them in the kitchen with me. That's just part of it. So, yeah. And they're willing to try it. Or they realize that there's so much more stuff that goes into stuff. Like, there's actually cocoa powder, which does not taste good. But it goes into something that does. And so
there's a different experiment.
Yeah. Exactly. We've done a lot.
Yeah,
we've done a lot.
There's a whole lot you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So homeschooling is a good route to go if you can do it, if you are available to be home.
And that's the thing. I tell everybody, homeschooling is not for everyone. And if you don't think you can do it, then don't do it. I mean, it's just not something that everyone should do. Yeah. But
if you're able to do it and you want to do it.
For us, it has been...
It's worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it's who we are. And so, and personally, I love seeing a kiddo struggle with something, and I love seeing them get through it. And that, because life is full of hard things. And
so you love seeing them succeed at something. You don't like to see them struggle.
I don't like to see them struggle,
I love to see them struggle. This is what you said.
No, but I don't. I mean, the thing is, reality is life is going to be full of hard things and struggles. That's just the way it is. So we might as well equip them to be able to succeed and get through it.
Yep.
And that, honestly, that is why we homeschool.
Yep. So. Make kids better.
Yeah. And be able to, and probably something that I touched on a little bit is developing their character. And so you have the opportunity to give them...
teach them character words.
Character, yes.
Things to live for.
Yes. And that can shape who they are. Again, the goal is adults.
Good
Right?
adults.
Good adults. Independent, contributing to society adults.
Positive.
Positive. So that's in a nutshell why we homeschool.
Yeah. We might have to cross this bridge another time.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.